Grand evening, grand evening. How you guys doing on this Saturday afternoon? And I want to have a real quick talk about what's going on from an economic view, a political view in this country with the new positive White House change picked by the people of the United States who have chose Trump to be their president by a large margin, it appears. And what I'm doing right now is, before we get to that, what I'm doing is I've already added a coat on there. You can see this is darker than up here and up here. I'm adding a coat of polyurethane waterproof gloss on my beautiful hand-carved African statue. And what I'm doing is I'm preserving this and keeping it from deteriorating by adding the polyurethane gloss waterproof seal on it. This will preserve it, make it nice and beautiful, because these are going to go outside on my potted trees. So that's what I'm doing with this. And while I'm doing this, I want to have a talk about my views on what's going on in this country as far as economically, and so forth, as far as the tariffs and everything's that's going on. Because what I'm saying is, what I'm hearing is, and I'm a good listener. I'm a listener, and I always like to listen before I talk. I do more listening than talking. That's why I haven't talked too much on my YouTube channel, because I'm a listener. As you can see, as I put the polyurethane coating on, it goes on. It's clear. It's very clear. But when you put it on here, it shows it's white. But that's not white. It's clear. And when it dries, it's going to get like this down here, nice, glossy, and clean looking. So don't be paranoid about that. It's not going to look this way once it dries. It will dry nice and clear. So what I'm hearing from other content creators about all the major changes, the huge changes that the Trump administration is making via Elon Musk and Dodge, and how they're finding not millions, but they're finding billions in government waste. And what I'm hearing from a lot of the content creators is, oh my God, our country is going in the wrong way. You better start gardening now. You better start preparing, because it's going to get worse. And the reality is, folks, I live in the real world. I just don't listen to people just talking without any facts. The reality is that's just not true, because if you follow the Fed chairman, Jerome Powell had a meeting, I believe last week, and he came out and said, hey folks, the American economy is still doing great. This was the federal chairman of the Fed, Mr. Powell. He said the American economy is doing great from what we've seen by the numbers there is no we don't see a recession happening right now. So when I hear all these content creators talking about, oh my God, we are now in a recession, you got to realize the people who are saying this are not economic experts, people. They're just people like me and you. And a lot of people who are saying this don't even have a background in finances at all. So be careful for what you hear. You know, because the reality is, according to Jerome Powell, the federal chairman, that we are not in a recession, people. The economy is doing great. Matter of fact, we are still in a high inflation mode right now that's getting higher. The inflation is going up because most Americans are still spending too much money, people. Most Americans are still spending too much money, and the Powell, the Fed chairman, has said that many times. And this is why the Fed chairman will not lower interest rates, people. He won't lower interest rates because Americans are still spending too much money. You don't spend a lot of money when you're in a recession countrywide. That means people still have plenty of money to spend and are spending it. So when you go online and you hear these folks saying, we are in a recession, we are in a recession. Now that Trump's saying we're in a recession. Trump hasn't been president long enough for us to be in a recession, people. He's only been in office, I believe, 47 to 48 days. He hasn't been in long enough. The president does not start getting reviews until he hits 100 days. 100 days is when he gets his first review, people. We haven't even gotten there yet. So, what you're hearing online from these content creators is actually just jibber jabberish. It's all fear. It's all their personal fears, not reality. We are not in a recession, people. We are not in a recession. Interest rates are higher than they've been in a long while. And the Fed chairman has come out and saying, I'm not lowering interest rates because you Americans are still spending too much money. So you gotta look at YouTube as entertainment. It's a lot of acting going on YouTube with content creators. The fact is, if you have professional folks like Jerome Powell, and Powell doesn't even like Trump, as a matter of fact, him and Trump don't get along because he won't lower interest rate, and Trump wants him to, and he won't. The chairman is saying we're not in a recession. Our economy in America is doing great. People, start doing your own research. Stop listening to folks online who don't have any background in economics, who don't listen to the experts, like the federal chairman, Jerome Powell, who comes out and says it all the time when he has their meetings. I think every 3 months they have a meeting, and he's already said, no, we are not in a recession. We are in a time of high inflation, people. Super inflation, not a recession. Meaning that Americans are still spending too much money. You don't hit a recession, people, till everybody stops spending money and going broke. And that's coming from the federal chairman, Jerome Powell. I forget his name, Jerome Powell. He came out last week and said that. So don't just go by what these content creators are saying, that we're in a recession and the whole country's gonna fail. That's all just. It's all just. It's all just talk, people. It's all talk. So I wanted to start with that. So let's talk about the terrorists. Let's talk about the terrorists. We are $32 to $34 trillion in debt, which is it's astronomical, which is ridiculous. Our government hasn't had an audit in decades until Trump got in, and they're finding billions of dollars wasted for nonsense things. They're finding billions of dollars we're giving to other countries when here in America we need that money to pay our debt off. So everybody's getting rich off America, and people are sitting here like America has unlimited money. We don't. The money's paid by us taxpayers. So the country is in debt. So you have a president who's not trying to pass that buck on, because at the end of the day, if government keeps throwing away billions and billions of dollars, our economy will collapse in the near future. So something has to be done. And it's being done now. So, and tariffs is a good way to do that, because America has gone to a country that used to produce everything to now 80% of our products are made over in China, Mexico, and a little bit of Canada. A little bit of Canada. We're not really worried about Canada. At least I'm not. So we have gone to a country of mass production in the past to a country of just consumers who do not know how to make anything, who are not thinkers anymore, who are just consumers. And everybody else is getting rich off of us, especially China. Because China has realized Americans are lazy. Most Americans are lazy. The new generation of Americans are lazy. They don't have any more innovation anymore. All they want to do is just go buy stuff, spend, party, be lazy. And they're wondering why their economy's shot right now. And that's the reason why. So, those are some of the things that I want to share with y'all while I acrylic this beautiful statue. Get it all nice and gloss. It's going to take a little while. And what's going to happen is, that's like the bottom here that I'm putting a second coat on. Once this dries, it's going to be nice, shiny, and glossy, and beautiful. And this will go on. This will go outside on one of my beautiful potted trees outside. And I have more of these. I have more of these to do too. I love finding art like this. This is a piece of rare art too that I'm doing this to. By the way, people, this is handmade over in Africa. And you're asking why is he doing that to it? Because I'm doing that to it because this is all wood. If I don't preserve this statue, it'll break away. Because it's wood. So I have to preserve it to keep it nice so it doesn't deteriorate. That's what this that's what the polyurethane does. It preserves wood. It keeps the wood nice. It protects it from the elements, nice and glossy. That's what it's for. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna turn this around a little bit now. Do the back of it. We'll turn it around do the back. Get this nice. I put a little tie on there to keep his hair nice and tight. I don't want to fly them all over the place. And we'll do the back. So when you online and you hear these content creators talking about we're in a recession and all that, stop listening to people. Do your own homework. I'm a person who does his own homework. I just don't go by what people say online. Whether it's social media, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, I always go to the source. I always go to the source, the professionals, like Federal Reserve Chairman, who sets the rate in the United States, sets the rate, how much money we're going to spend. He lowers the interest rate or raises it according to how our economy's doing. So if he says we're not in a recession, people, then we're not in a recession. Inflation tells you that. People are spending more and more money. That's why inflation is still high, because people have not slowed down spending money. That's a fact in this country. That's why inflation is so high. They raise the inflation rate to make you stop spending money. That's why inflation is so high. When you go buy a car, it costs you more now because inflation is high. Because the federal chairman wants you to stop spending money. When you go buy a house now, the interest rate is 6.5 to 7%, which is ridiculously high. That's why most people can't afford to buy a home, because the interest rate is too high, because Jerome Powell, the chairman, wants to make it harder for you to get loans because you're spending too much money. That's the reality, people. And most people don't understand that. So we're not in a recession, as Jerome Powell, the chairman, said. The economy is still good. The unemployment rate is 4.5%. It's still low. The unemployment rate is still low. Although there's been lots of layoffs by the new administration and government, and the reality is, from the past, is the government is actually probably too bloated, people. Whether you like it or not, it's too bloated. You have a lot of employees sitting around not doing anything, making money, sitting at home, watching you guys on YouTube. Like it or not, that's just the way it is, and they're finding that out. They're finding that most employees are not doing anything at home. The government has hired too many federal employees under the Biden administration. So all these things that are happening right now, believe it or not, it's painful. It's painful to see people lose their jobs. It really is. It's painful to see that. It's painful to see that we're in a crisis. We are in a huge debt of $32 to $34 trillion. It's painful to see that billions and billions of dollars are being wasted by these corrupt politicians and U.S. aid and giving money away for nonsense stuff overseas, while Americans, especially the veterans, are homeless. Nobody's talking about the veterans. Nobody's talking about the veterans not getting the help that they want, while we're giving billions of dollars overseas to other countries like Ukraine. We shouldn't be helping Ukraine. We shouldn't be helping them. And I'm glad we got a president in who realizes the corruption that's going on in Ukraine. in helping American people, especially our veterans, people who have served this country, you know, and so forth. So I'm not gonna hold you guys up. I'm just doing a little bit of work here, and on my journey of having a sustainable backyard food forest. Like I said, for me, it's not content, it's a journey. I'm not in a rush to do this. I do this when I can. You know, we all have good days and bad days. I have my bad days too. And when I can, I take my time and I slowly go on a journey to grow enough food to create enough self-sustainable power, my DIY solar generators, and to make myself more self-sustainable, because the reality is it shouldn't matter what the country is doing economically. Whether the country's doing good or whether it's doing bad, for me, I'm always growing food. I don't care what the country's doing. It doesn't matter to me, because I love being more self-sustainable. I love doing things, creating things for myself, and not depending on the system as a consumer. We have too many consumers here in America. I see a lot of content creators. All they're doing is selling you guys stuff online to make money. They're selling you stuff online to make money, but none of these content creators, I shouldn't say none, very few of these content creators are making their own stuff. All they're doing is saying, "Ooh, look what I bought," and they're going online and they're showing you products that were made in China, telling you to go buy it, instead of telling you, "Hey, don't go buy that. Don't go buy it. See if you can make it yourself. See if you can make this yourself. And save yourself lots of money and make it yourself." Don't just hop online and go buy stuff because people want you to buy stuff, because it's all a game. It's all a game. So, and they have realized that by going to content creators and having them become their salesmen. That's why you have content creators who have large profiles, because they're just salesmen for companies. So, with me, I love saving money. I love saving my money. I just don't go online and buy stuff just because I'm American and I can. I always try to do stuff myself, come up with my own inventions, and create my own stuff instead of wasting thousands and thousands of dollars on stuff made overseas that's not even worth anything anyway. Like my solar generators. You don't see me going online and buying these solar generators out the box from made overseas, because for one, a lot of these solar generators made overseas, they're expensive. To me, they're expensive. And I can make my own DIY solar generator for 1/3 the cost. 1/3 the cost. It's a whole lot cheaper. And then if I have a problem with it, I can fix it myself. I can fix it myself. And I'm saving thousands and thousands of dollars by not buying it out of the box from a producer that has it made over in China. A lot of you folks, you got to realize, when you buy this stuff made overseas, if it breaks down, you're out of luck. lot of this stuff you can't get your money back because it's made overseas. So what are you gonna do? For me, it's all about saving money. It's all about taking your time, using the brain that the Most High has given us, and finding a way to say, you know what? I can make that at home using recycled material that we normally throw in the trash. I can make that at home and save myself tons of money. Now I can fix it myself, and I'm a whole lot happier. So those are the few things I want to talk about. Was that we are not in a recession, according to the federal chairman Jerome Powell. He says we're not in a recession. Employment is at 4.5%. The economy is doing great. He said the economy is doing great. And for those who are upset about the economy, you shouldn't be mad at Trump. Trump's only been in office 47 to 48 days. That's it. You should be mad at Joe Biden. Trump has only been in office 47 to 48 days. So now you're mad at Trump. When Biden was here, none of you guys out here complaining was saying anything about Biden when he was giving away hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine, when he was messing up our economy, when he was the list goes on. So now you have a president who's only been in 47 to 48 days, and you say it's all his fault. It's all his fault, which is nonsense. He hasn't been in office that long. He's creating all the mistakes that the prior president made. So wake up. Stop being sheep. Do your research. So I'm going to let this dry, and I'll do a picture of this when it dries. I'll let it dry. Let the gloss, polyurethane, I hope I'm saying that right. Polyurethane gloss dry on this. And then I'll show it to you guys here in a minute once it gets all dry. So until then, at the end of the day, we gotta be more DIY. We gotta be more self-sustainable. We gotta start producing our own stuff here. We gotta stop being consumers. Open a book, read, learn how to do some of this stuff on your own. Take your time. If it takes you a little bit longer, then it takes you a little bit longer. That's it. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. So, and with that, and this thing was outside, so I had a few little bugs that were in here. I tried to blow it all out, but little bugs are running out. running out. That's the other reason why I'm still in this, because at one time I had some termites that got into this thing, and I had to fumigate it real good. So another reason why I'm sealing it too, because it's going back outside. The termites love eating wood, and this is teak wood. This is that good wood. So okay, I'm gonna let that dry. Until next time. At the end of the day, ain't nobody coming to save us. We gotta save ourselves. Stop listening to these content creators. Listen to the professionals. We are not in a recession. The economy is 4.5% for unemployment. It's 4.5%. Jerome Powell says the economy of America is still good.